Yo guys, what's up? So it's been a while since we've done a video. We've been super busy with the agency side of Heat, but today I want to do a video really sharing some sauce with you guys on how to launch a product. Now I want to make a quick disclaimer saying this is for a product that's usually going to be like a bigger bundle or some sort of bigger product. You don't want to do this every single week with just like one beat or one loop kit. It's just going to exert your audience. It's really not going to make much sense because you're putting so much excitement, so much hype behind one thing that's really not all that demanding of all that much hype, and it's just not going to work out good. So when it comes to launching a product, obviously there's two things that matter, right? Number one is you have your product. That's pretty easy to understand. And then two, what is just as important as the product is the timeline. Now, obviously, if you don't have a good product, the timeline doesn't matter. But if you have a really good product and a really good timeline, guess what, my friends? That equals some serious cash that you can make. Kind of sound a little weird when I said that, but I really want to stress to you guys, this timeline is super important because you need to have a hype period, you need to have a launch period, and you need to have a close period. And we'll go over all of that in just a few minutes. But let me explain to you guys what a good sales campaign usually looks like and what to look for. All right, so let's just kind of make like a fake sales graph here for a monthly chart, and you guys will see what I'm talking about. So let's say that we take the month of September, right? You have the 1st of the month and the 30th of the month. I don't know if there's 30 or 31 days in September, but we're gonna roll with it. Then let's say on the 11th, you wanna launch your product, and then on the 21st, you're gonna end it. So let's just draw like a green line here for launch, and then we'll draw a red line here, for ending. So let's just say this blue line is like your sales. So usually, right, you'll kind of be like that, okay. And then you're gonna launch the product, and what you're gonna see is on that launch day, it's gonna spike up. The next day, it's kind of gonna go down. Then it's gonna kind of, teeter down, kind of like that. And then once you get to like the last 2, 3, last day, last few hours of your campaign, right? Once it clicks in, like 2 days left, 1 day left, a few hours left, you're gonna see this happen. It's gonna spike back up. And then of course, right, once you're done with it, it's gonna drop back down, kind of go back to like your normal rates in terms of if this is like money, so to speak. So, that's kind of what it visually looks like, and I'll put some examples on the screen of some stuff that we have done with sales campaigns for clients, and you guys can see like what these graphs look like. That's pretty much what you usually get. So the first thing I want to talk about is sort of the launch period. So really when it comes down to it, there's two main important factors and a third hidden one, but it's not really hidden, is you have your launch, then you have your end, and then of course before your launch, like in this time period, you have your hype. And so this is really, really important that you also hype it up as well. So let's just kind of break down the launch and the close, and then we'll get more into each thing. So when it comes to launching a product, one of the most important things that you have to do on your end is you first have to hype it up, right? If your audience sees as a content creator that you are super freaking excited about something happening, people are gonna be really excited about it as well. Okay, so essentially what that means is to like kind of like make this visually, is that if you yourself, you're like I don't know, like you're 90% hype, then your audience of people, right, they're never gonna be any more hyper than you really, but they're gonna be close to you. And so they might be like 80% hype, they might be 70% hype, they might be 60% hype. The issue is that when you yourself are, this is such a weird drawing, if you're like 15% hype about it, no one's gonna be more than 10% hype about it. This is all just like figure of terms. What I'm saying is that you, as the creator, as the person making the product, you're the most excited about it. One, you're gonna make money from it. That makes you more excited than somebody who's gonna be using it more than likely. And like, it's your product. Like, you're gonna be the one most excited about it. And so, where you are determines like the ceiling for how hype somebody else can be. I don't know if this makes sense at all, but essentially it's just, listen, if you don't make a big deal about it on social media, nobody's gonna give a shit. That's really what it comes down to, is like the best way to describe this. So yeah, just take that with a grain of salt. I mean, think about Marvel movies, right? With Marvel, they start promoting obviously their audience is way, way, way bigger. They start promoting a year, 6 months, 3 months out. And as they get closer to the timeline of it launching, it goes a lot more harder. But you have to understand, right? People are literally altering their schedules, taking days off work, waiting in lines at movie theaters for hours just to watch a movie because they're that excited about it. And it's the same thing that works with a product, right? I remember, I think for J Cactus and for Kavi, we had people say, like, I didn't even really look at the product page. I just knew this product was gonna be awesome, and I bought it immediately once it launched, and then I kind of looked at the page to see what I got. And that's just something that you can build up as trust as a content creator that, don't get me wrong, that's not easy to do, but if you do the hype correctly, if you build an organic audience correctly, people will just be so excited they're gonna buy it, and then they might be like, oh shit, what did I even buy? Like, let me look at this first, right? They bought before they even saw the product. Obviously, that does not happen a lot, but I wanna show you guys that's how important kind of the hype period is that if you can get people so hyped for it, they might not even really look at it. Obviously, very, very small percentage of people will do that, but I'm just saying that's how kind of far it can go if done correctly. And I mean, yeah, dude, people are literally excited to give you money, and that's a really good business to have. And then we have closing urgency. So a lot of people will say that this is manipulative, which I love this one because it is true. It can be manipulative if you are lying about it. And what this does is that if you do this as an organic content creator, it hurts your reputation. And so it's really stupid to do. And so only if you're lying about urgency is it manipulative, right? If you say that after this date, the price is gonna rise and the price never rises, or if you say after this date, I'm never gonna sell this again, and then a week later, you're selling it, you're lying. Now, if you go a few months and say, hey, I'm gonna relaunch this for a few days, to me, that's fine. That's not lying, it's not manipulative. But if you're like, hey, I'm never gonna sell this thing ever, 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 ever again, and then a week goes by and you're like, oh, it's back, haha, you're lying. Like, yeah, that's bad urgency. You don't wanna do that. And so there's kind of 3 ways that you can do urgency that work really well. And this is kind of the order of how I would say it works. So first up, you have not available. So after 7 days, this product is not available. That's the strongest, right? You cannot buy this thing again. Then number 2 would be a price increase. So after 7 days, this product will still be available, but you'll have to pay 20% extra the cost. And then number 3, which is a little bit, I would say it's still strong, but it's pretty much kind of like the weakest, is that if you remove bonuses. So let's say that when you launch this product, it comes with these 3 bonuses, and then after a week you remove these 3 bonuses. It's still urgency, but it's not the best urgency to play off of to get people to take action. So that's something that you should note there as well. And there's also kind of like a hidden factor with this. So when you have an organic audience, right, people who were skeptical the first time, which is perfectly fine, right? They're like, okay, he's not gonna raise the price after 10 days, or like, he's not gonna stop selling this, and you do stop selling this. People are gonna be like, oh, this is actually for real. And so the next time you launch something, they're actually gonna know, or with more marketing tactics you do, people are gonna know, okay, this guy's for real, right? This coupon is a limited time thing, or this is a limited time thing. This guy doesn't lie about the urgency, it's actually true. People are gonna believe you more if they see it actually happen for themselves. And also, it's just really bad to do, right? As an organic content creator, you really have to rely on your audience because they are literally, you're an organic content creator. Your audience is your everything with this. And so if you lie to them, it's just a bad reputation to have, and it's gonna hurt people buying from you in the future. Cool. And also with urgency, I mean, just think about it. As someone who wrote so many papers in college, I never wrote them till literally the night before, and I turned to like an English scholar. I could type like 4 pages in a few hours, and I would ignore it for like a whole week before. It's just urgency. That's how people act. So yeah, it's a good thing to have. Cool. So now let's get into the building hype phase. All right, so for building hype, we usually have to start 10 days out. Now, why 10 days? Well, we've tried 14 days, and it just doesn't work, right? What usually happens is it felt like around day 11 or day 12, it kind of felt like, right, when we post on social media, we got that kind of like peak, and then it's kind of like fizzled out, and then like day 11, day 12, it just kind of got like that, right? People were just like, when's this coming out again? When is this launching? It just kind of felt like people were just kind of like waiting badly, if that makes sense. And then we've also tried 7 days. And that was also, it just kind of felt like it was rushed because it felt like we essentially made the announcement And then it felt like it was like 2 days later, and it's like, hey, this thing's gonna launch tomorrow. Obviously, that's a little extreme. But yeah, it just kind of felt like it was rushed. And really, if you think about it with social media, with an organic audience as a content creator, what's gonna happen is when you launch to an organic audience, like the first 2 to 3 days, your audience, like your main audience, is gonna see that content. And so to drag it on for even more of just people seeing it over and over again, like a lot of the majority, this is also urgency works here too. When you do the hype phase, what's gonna happen is you're gonna see the same thing, right? Your first post on Instagram, we'll say like that, you're gonna get a ton of people. And then, you know, like your next few posts, they're gonna get a good amount. These are arrows going up to say that. And then like your last few posts before you launch it, they're gonna drive more people because it's gonna be the same thing as this, of where you're gonna launch it, you're gonna have all the announcement, the excitement here, and then you're gonna say, okay, like the early access, the wait list is clothing tomorrow. People are like, oh shit, I need to get on that. And so you're gonna have the same sort of urgency there. These are Instagram posts, and the big arrows mean more people are signing up for it. So that's essentially what we saw with that, is just 14 days felt like it was too long, 7 days felt like it was too short. Obviously, people may have other experiences with that. That's just what we have with our clients. That's what we see and what we like. So that's just kind of also personal preference with marketing that we've seen that feel like it works best. Obviously, if you have another thing you do, go for it. So now, let's talk about the goal of hype. So once again, you as the creator of the product, you need to have the most hype because your audience is essentially relying on you to make a decision as to why they want to even look into this. And if you are so freaking excited about something, they're going to be like, why is this guy so freaking excited? If you're like a level 1, they're going to be like, huh, what's this thing this guy's doing? He's really not that excited about it. Whatever. But if you're like a level 10 of like, this is the best thing ever released, I've been working on this for so long, blah, 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 blah. You're so excited. You're like jumping off the walls. People are going to be like, why the hell is this guy so excited? Right? It's just human nature to be that curious. Like, why is he so excited? Also, people can then tell if you are bullshitting. So if you're lying about a product being so good, then you release the product. One, you're gonna see it in your launch of that. People are gonna like get to it and be like, this isn't up to the hype. This isn't good. So hype's a good thing and a bad thing because it can really get people to be super, super excited. But if they get to your launch page and they see the product and they're like, wait a second, this isn't that good, it's just gonna hurt you. So it's a double-edged sword that you can use to really help you, but it can also be hurtful if you do not deliver on it. There we go, cannot talk. You know, if you look at someone, this is really cool, with Kavi, with Elements of Soul. One, I mean, just a great product, an amazing, unique product in the space. And then this is something that he had been hyping up for literally, I think, like 6 months. Just in his Discord server, every now and then he'd be like, hey, like starting on the sample kit for Elements of Soul, or like, hey, just got these vocal chops back. Here's a little preview of it. And so he really wasn't pushing it, but he was just really introducing it to his audience. And it was an amazing thing. So it really, when it launched, it had lived up to all the hype that he had done. And also in the hype period, people were so excited because they knew Kavi had great products. And so altogether, it just meshed really, really well because it was a great, unique product. And over time, he had kind of infused it into hyping people up and just making people aware that he was doing this product. And so really, I mean, really just the last point in here is like, if you don't make a big deal, this is terrible. If you don't make a big deal, people don't care. It's as simple as that. Like, really, like I said, if you're level 1, no one else is gonna be above you in terms of excitement. But if you're a level 10, then people can be a level 9, people can be a level 8, people can be a level 6. But if you're just a level 1 of excitement, no one's gonna be more excited than you for your own product. Why would they be? Where to send this hype? So essentially you have all these posts getting hype, but like, where do people go, right? You don't want them to just see the post and be like, oh, cool, this releases in 10 days. I'll mark my calendar. No one's gonna do that. So essentially from all your social media posts, you then want to push them to a waitlist form, which then you can use email marketing to get to them. Look at that, that's cool. And so the whole point of this is, one, when you want someone to sign up, so let's say like you get them to sign up, right here. And then you have your launch over here. Really, you just want to send them periodic emails within here to kind of hype the product up and also remind them that you're doing this. Like, hey, like this drops tomorrow, or like, look at this, right? You just kind of want to warm up to the fact of like, this person is interested in this product because they sign up for your wait list. And so you want to build even more curiosity, even more hype, even more kind of some insights to what this exactly is. And then like remind them like, hey, like this thing's happening tomorrow. Because really, if you just have somebody join your wait list, and let's say this is 10 days, right? If someone has to wait 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, I mean, even like 3 days, then they get a launch email, they're probably going to forget about it just because there's so much stuff happening in someone's world. And so you really want to kind of get them warmed up. And then obviously when you have email, you can also then send an email to their email when it launches. And so you're not, you can do like an email only waitlist launch, or it's just a better way to contact people as well, more direct than social media. So now let's get into launching this mofo. So this is very, very simple. Essentially, what you want to do is just share it everywhere. I mean, that's literally all it is. Like, the only way that you're gonna make more money on this offer is just getting more traffic to it. Like, that's literally the only thing. Like, you're probably gonna have like a 3 to 5 to 6% conversion rate on this page. And so depending on your audience and whatnot, that's what we've seen. But essentially it's like, what that means then is that if you only get 1,000 people to it with a 3% conversion rate, so 1,000 people, 3% conversion rate, then you're gonna have 30 people. Cool. And so like if all you can get is 1,000 people there, that's all you're gonna get. But if you can get 10,000 people at 3%, now you have 300 purchases. Like it's just traffic at that point. And so it's so important that like you wanna go YouTube, spelled that wrong, Instagram, Discord, email, SMS if you have it. Literally any place that you can reach somebody, you want to make them aware, hey, we just launched this thing. Cool. And I mean, it's so simple, but it just is that. Like you need to make people aware of it. Then we then have the urgency aspect. So this is a big thing that we see is make sure the page includes urgency, right? Urgency is the main driving factor of this. And so if on the page it's not really clear the offer is going to end, people aren't going to act. Like obviously you yourself as the creator of the marketing campaign behind this, you know every single detail about when everything's happening. But if someone just clicks the link from your bio and goes to this page or YouTube description of your email, they're not going to know the whole marketing aspect of when this thing ends, when it's beginning, what the bonuses are. You have to make sure all that stuff is covered on the page. An example here is over at Software Audio, they had a bonus product in one of their bigger bundles that was limited to 200 copies. But it wasn't on, like, it was at a very, very small section. It really wasn't visible or it didn't stand out at all. And also, it didn't tell you if it was sold out or not, so you didn't know if it was still available or not. So, like, you're confused as a buyer, you're not gonna buy then. And it's just like urgency is really a driving factor for selling stuff. And so if it's really not made easy to understand or understand if it's still available, people aren't gonna act. So that's just another thing. And then once again, right, social media is really just like stories on Instagram. Stories on Instagram go crazy. You wanna find essentially testimonials, other people talk about your product, people just tagging you and stuff they make with your product. Essentially, you wanna find ways to show other people using your stuff so that way it's not just you trying to sell stuff on it. Then we have closing. Okay, so, whoops, going back up to this. This spike here happens because of a few very, very important reasons. And this spike will not happen unless people know it's closing, okay? So essentially, those last 3 days, you need to go hard on posts, stories, and emails. To give you an example for emails, the last 3 days for our sales campaigns, we're doing 5 emails in that time period. Oh, Ryan, isn't that spam? Not really. As long as you're putting some like energy, not energy, but like putting some effort into the emails to where it doesn't say this ends tonight, buy now, it's not really spam, people will be cool with it. Well, then they might not be cool with it, but it's not as spammy as you think it is. Obviously though, is this seeming as annoying? 100%, but you need to reach people. I know for Zero to Sync, the last 2 days or so, I think we posted 45 stories-ish almost. It was a lot of stories of just testimonials from people as to why they joined the course and people being really excited from joining the course. And like, yeah, did that kill our Instagram story reach? 100%. But you have to think, there were probably multiple people out there who were on the edge about buying the course. And then all they see on our stories is people really excited they bought the course. What do you think that person's gonna do? They're gonna be like, oh shit, I'm gonna miss out. It's urgency. People are having fun with this course. They're excited. I wanna be a part of this, right? So yeah, did I hurt our Instagram reach for a few days? Sure. Did I make us more money? Yes. Like, don't really get worried on like this whole social media is gonna ruin your shit. It's not. You just wanna make sure that your shit is visible to people. And yeah, really just wanna bounce back on this. Is like, you have to make the messaging clear that this is ending. If people do not know this is ending, and like, I mean all fronts, email, SMS, Discord, anyway, stories, posts, YouTube videos, you really want to make it clear so people know this thing is ending in just a few days. If they don't, they're not going to take action. It's just how it works. Like, the only way that you are going to get this, is that if people are aware that this thing is ending. And so if you do not post on social media or whatnot, or you're just sending out emails, or you're just doing one post here and there, like, hey, ends tomorrow, hey, ends today, that's not enough. That's just, it's not enough. And then it also matters what you're posting, right? If you're showing screenshots of people joining your Discord saying, hey, I'm super excited, I got this. Holy shit, this thing is amazing, I'm so glad I got this. Wow, this is so jam-packed with value. If you can bundle that in, essentially saying, hey, this closes tomorrow, people are like, oh shit, this is really good, I need to be a part of this, right? Versus just like a black screen says, ends tomorrow. No one cares, right? Like, yeah, it makes a point, but it's really not that good. And so, yeah, that is the video about how to launch a product. If you need help launching a product as a producer, hit us up on Instagram, Heat Daily, and we'll see if we can help anything out with you guys. Also, leave any comments for future videos. Leave any comments if you have any questions. I'll be sure to answer them. And yeah, peace out.